1. And hello. How's everybody doing?
Sore.
eh,
I am sore physically and emotionally.
well, why are you sore physically?
That's my secret cap. I'm always sore
I'm all,
physically.
you're just always. I feel like it's your limbs, and you like have to constantly curl in on yourself like a caterpillar.
Yes, and it's like a bandage on the tumor where like because I'm so balled up, my limbs are atrophying at an accelerated rate. I'm going to be a torso by the time I'm 40.
You know, I actually have seen it before. I've only seen a few of them, but I've seen like people who are so tall, like they're 6'8" or above, and they actually have a hunchback forming because they have to
Yep.
hunch over so much, and they have physical deformities can start happening from a result of being so tall, and it's
Believe me, I actually think I have a very mild one. Like I feel like
from always looking down on
I
people.
have. No, I'm not. I'm not looking down because of status. I just am too tall to talk
This
to
isn't
people.
classism; it's self-loathing.
I'm breaking myself to talk to you.
This
You
is
should be thanking me
this
for
is a
looking
courtesy
down
to
on
you.
you.
You dare deign me with your presence, knave.
Oh my.
What's going on, everybody? Now that that's out of the way, that's a great intro.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh,
Great cold
we
open.
got a
Hello,
lot to talk about
everybody.
today. We're gonna go on a few rants today because we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Stuff that we're both passionate about,
This
and
past week has been interesting.
it's gonna be very interesting. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Not as much tech news. We've hit like the dry spell of the tech news period, for the year. Usually for gaming, that comes in like we passed that. That was like 2 months ago that we hit that slot for gaming.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's after the big blast of
after
gaming news
after
from all of
CES
the
happens, it's kind of quiet for a while.
yeah.
For the tech side of things, but we
No one wants their big game reveals or announcements to be overshadowed by E3. So they might as well like if they no one would do something a week after because why don't you just do it at E3?
honestly, it makes perfect sense why Sony pulled out of E3 2 years ago, because like they could just get more press coverage like focused on them specifically for them. So like, why wouldn't you host your own private event? I mean,
Exactly.
Xbox is even doing that now in addition to E3, so they get as much exposure as possible. So it's like,
This and at this rate, E3 might just be a Microsoft event.
well, you more on that later.
Yeah, dude.
But I saw people actually believe that the Game Awards are like the new E3, and like that's the standard that the industry is adopting
I
now.
I really agree. Honestly, I
Honestly.
think that
It feels like
I think that
more
that's
eyes are on the Game Awards than ever before, and it feels like they've slowly been like taking the viewership of E3 down over the past few years. So
yeah.
maybe we'll see more of that. But on to our first topic of the day. The New York Times has called out Tesla for promising full self-driving to be tested on the public. So if you know anything about Tesla, one of the things that you can get added when you purchase one is the capability of full self-driving. The problem with full self-driving is they add it into the cost of the car as a future promise, meaning that
Oh.
meaning that it's actually technically not available in the car yet. They have assisted driving, like if say you're on the highway and you're going like super fast and you're not changing lanes and you just need to stay in the lane you are at the speed you're in and not like veer off to the side of the road. The car can control itself then. The car can like take the wheel so you can like free up your hands to do other things. But there's a couple things to note. It still requires your full attention, and it's still like not safe for you to like be doing other things like crawl in the back seat and take a nap. Like you shouldn't do that. But it requires your full attention, and it's not full self-driving. It's only like slightly automated, which needs human assistance. Which is why I think it's weird that they include what they call an infotainment system. It's like a 17-inch display that they have
Yeah.
on the console, and now you can play video games on it. Like, I think they're setting the car up to work with full self-driving really well, but it's like it's not there yet. And it's like you shouldn't have that in your car yet. But they don't have, so the gist of it is they don't have full self-driving yet in their car, but they can charge you for it now because they're saying they're going to give it to you later. Well, recently there was an accident in a Tesla car.
Ooh,
I don't know if it was a result of an error with their assisted driving. No, that's from 2019. I just saw a report from very recently. Oh, is that the most recent one? This is from November of 2021. Yeah, this was in Florida. Okay, so I'm gonna send Jared. I'm gonna send this in the chat if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, I honestly do.
But the Tesla in question was driving up to 90 miles an hour, and the crash was clearly fatal. And I say clearly, and you'll understand why it was fatal when you see the picture.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, the crash was fatal, and they like, I don't think it was proven, but they largely believe it was due. Like the article says the report that they had did not find driver assist systems to be particularly at fault.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that car is done. Like, no one made it out of that alive.
That's something you see out of like that's something you see like
Michael
walking
Bay
down
movie.
a road in Fallout.
Yeah, that's a Michael Bay movie. That's like that got messed up by a Decepticon.
Jesus.
And they did note that the driver assist programs were not involved in the crash. However, the autopilot software was. Meaning that one of the big debates that people in Congress, people in U.S. government, other substantial figures in the tech industry have said is a big problem with the idea of going full self-driving is, how does a machine, or software rather, know when to make a decision? And like how does it have the judgment to make a decision that would save human lives? Like, it's that whole thing where like your car fails, you can either swerve off into the right lane and hit one other car and you die with them, or you could swerve into the left lane and hit like a school bus full of children, but you survive. Like it's like, what would an automated car do?
How does it calculate the cost?
Exactly, like you don't know. You just don't know, and that's one of the big contention points with that. But the New York Times warned against Tesla's full self-driving, saying in an ad, "Do not be a Tesla crash dummy. Don't let Tesla use you as a test dummy." The advocacy group, the Dawn Project, was behind the ad, and the ad reports that they are, quote, making computers safe for humanity. I do think that it's important to check big companies like Tesla once in a while, once they get a little too overzealous with things like this, because we did just have there was another crash on New Year's Day, I believe, of this year. I believe it was the same result, and I think Elon Musk is gonna be speaking before the Senate soon to address concerns that they have about self-driving mechanics. But yeah, I just think this is one thing's for sure. If I do get a Tesla, I will not be paying for the full self-driving add-on.
Absolutely not.
I don't me personally, I do not trust a machine to make decisions in a car rather than myself. And I would urge everyone else who is interested in buying a Tesla to do the same, or any car that has promised self-driving features in it. I don't think it's cheap either. I think the full self-driving add-on in Tesla cars is like 10 grand upfront cost, and then you have to pay a subscription fee when it actually becomes available. Oh, it's 12 grand. It's 12,000.
Oh my god.
It's $12,000 if you want that feature to come with the car. But then you have to pay a subscription fee if you want it later. Like if you want it when it's actually working. And it's like, what did I pay the $12,000 for?
Exactly.
Like I get to pay $12,000 so I had the opportunity to pay more later? Like it's so dumb.
That is so dumb.
Oh my lord. But yeah, don't get full self-driving. It is nowhere near where it needs to be, at least, and I don't believe it's going to, not at least for like multiple decades. Like
Yeah, no, it won't be where it needs to be until it's the majority on the road.
At the very least until like there are no more gasoline cars being produced. Then we can focus on that. I was listening to a interview with the CEO of Volkswagen, because Volkswagen is one of the first like car manufacturers to actually shift to full electric vehicles by 2030. And what they were saying is it's like in the future you're going to think of a car less as hardware and more as software, because
Okay.
because in the future, like right now, like there's a difference between like say Ford and like Chevy. Like there's fundamentally different aspects about the way that they make their engines. And in the future, say like your car is powered by a lithium ion battery, right? If you have an electric car. That technology is largely similar. Like pretty much wherever you go, like lithium ion is lithium ion. So no matter what
Right.
manufacturer or what provider you go for, it's most likely going to function mostly in the same way. So in the future, cars' differences are going to be marked by what they can do on the software side of things rather than what the internals look like. Right?
Yeah.
Because like that's how we're gonna differentiate them in the future. He also went into detail about like how ownership of a car might not be a thing in the future, and you might just pay a subscription fee for what car you want right now. Like say like when you buy a car, there's like no upfront like $10,000 cost, like no upfront $10,000 down payment. But you pay say like you pay $100 a month for the entire time you have the car, and then like you just pay another $100 whenever you want to get another one. Which honestly sounds good on paper. Like, cause how expensive are cars? Like you could keep that for a long time and not even pay a fraction of what an actual new car costs. So I think that might actually be more desirable. But we don't know yet. So moving on, AMD launches its latest graphics card. It's the budget 4 gig 6500 XT, and it is worse than the. Hold on. When did this launch? When did the RX 570 launch? The RX
This does not sound good.
This is worse than the RX 570. This is a worse performing card than the RX 570, which was a card that came out in April of 2017.
Oh no.
And they want you to pay $200 for it. And I'm just like,
poor AMD.
I'm just like, are they even trying at this point? Like they're just shelling out whatever graphics card they can get you at this point. Like, oh, it's so disappointing. And also, it has one display port, and it has one HDMI port, which isn't a big deal on its surface, but it has no video encoder. Do you know what that means? That means that if you want to be if you're trying to be a budget content creator like we are, you can't, because unless you have a $700 CPU in your PC that can handle intense CPU encoding, which, by the way, is bad because, like, even if you do that, it's gonna make your temperatures so hot. It's so hot, it's gonna be awful.
You're gonna weld your CPU to your cooling unit, and then when you go to replace your cooling unit, you accidentally rip the CPU out.
Who would that happen to? Probably a couple fucking
Couldn't be
idiots.
us. Couldn't be us.
It couldn't be us.
It would happen to some scrub who doesn't update his drivers.
Oh no. However, don't do that because that's a bad idea. But also, if you do, one, it's going to take longer because CPU encoding is not as efficient as GPU encoding, and it's going to take longer to produce video content that way. And two, it's arguably going to look worse than if you use the GPU to encode. So it is just not like a practical option to use this card to make YouTube videos, for example. So if you want to be a budget content creator, you're going to have to go for NVIDIA's $250, like 3050 that's coming out soon. Because at least they have a video encoder. At least they have the technology for it. Where it's not, I can't even remember the last time. The RX 570 launched for I believe it was the same price, $200, back in 2017, and even that had a video encoder in it. Like, I don't understand. There was no excuse to do this. Like, there was no reason to leave a video encoder out of it. And the frame rate is terrible on whatever game you get. Like, I saw they were getting frame rates in like sometimes the single digits depending on the games, and I'm like, that is unplayable. And I'm not exaggerating, that's legitimately unplayable. Like, if you have frame rates in the single digits, you can't get through that. Especially if you're playing like a harder game. There was also gameplay stutter and texture pop-in issues whenever games were being played because AMD even said that 4 gigabytes of VRAM is not enough for any game these days. The minimum should be 6.
Yeah.
I wonder how Simon's doing with his 4 gigs of VRAM. He seems to be doing all right.
Yeah. He seems to not be having too much trouble.
Seems to be doing all right.
I don't think he uses it as much as Bryn has been using hers, though.
Well, she has double the VRAM. She has 8 gigs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she has nothing.
She's having a great time in Witcher 3.
She has nothing to worry about.
All of our friends are getting to Witcher 3 before me.
And they got the technology after you. Oh my lord! You should still know Life Uncharted before we go see it in theaters too.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 games, which, like I said, you can get through them in like 2 sittings, if you if you get like 2 5-hour chunks in there, like per sitting.
Okay. Yeah, and if I get through each game in 2 sittings each.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe I've done that before.
Like I said, I'm gonna play through them. I'm going for story, so I'm gonna play through them on the easiest difficulty.
It suffers from those like late 2000s collectathon.
Yeah, it suffers from that kind of showing of age.
No, it suffers from the late 2000s like collectathon stuff. Like, oh, you gotta find like 40 medals, 40 golden treasures, and I'm like, I just want to play the story. Stop making me look for this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, AMD, I don't understand why you did this. I understand you got to make that bread, but no one wanted this. Like,
yeah, it sounds like they're gonna lose money in making these.
Honestly, I didn't think I would be rooting for Intel to be the underdog savior anytime soon
of the chip shortage
where this is concerned. I think they're the only one who could do it. They're the only ones who could they're not using the same resources as AMD or Nvidia because it's an entirely new node, right? It's an entirely new processor. And they're using their own fabs. So they're using their own materials for it, so it's not like they're taking supply from the other teams. And they're the only ones who can produce at like massive market volume, but we'll see what massive is for like a chip shortage right now. So like that's the thing. We don't need more high-end graphics cards. We don't need more models. We need the market to be flooded, absolutely flooded with budget graphics cards, which I understand. I admire AMD for trying to put out a budget card. I do admire them for that. However, it's a bad card, and you shouldn't waste your money on it. It turns out beggars can be choosers. And segueing in to our last tech topic of the day.
Oh no!
The prices of CPUs
no.
and GPUs are expected to go up throughout the first half of 2022, which is not surprising considering we are now entering the peak of the silicon shortage, and we are expecting it to get better towards the last quarter of 2022, and especially better into the first half of 2023. So
yeah, TSMC has told companies that it plans to raise its prices of nodes by up to 20%, which is going to hurt.
Yeah, 20%. I think when back when Trump put in the tariffs like on materials that were being manufactured in China, or like products and services that were coming out of China, I believe his tariff markup was like 25%. And I think that's still active now. I don't think Mr. Joe Biden has done anything to correct that.
Oh, let's hope.
I remember when he got elected, I was like, is he going to do anything about the PC part tariffs? Because that was like my first concern.
Joe Byron, please.
Joe Byron. Yeah, as of October, the tariffs on China have stayed in place. They have been in place because Biden was looking for a new chief of trade. So it looks like they are very much still in place. So another 20% on top of the price hikes that are already coming out of those companies, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Good thing I'm not buying anything.
True.
I'm not buying anything.
I'm content for a while.
Even I have a 2080 Super, and it's nowhere near enough to play 4K in some games. Like, there are some games I do have to switch over to my other monitor because it's lower resolution, and I'm like, okay, this is playable. I can't do it. I can't do it in other games. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, that's like a game from 2017, and I can't even do that at a stable 60 FPS. Can't do it. You need
Soon,
good
my friend.
You need good ass hardware to be able to do that. Thankfully, God of War on PC appears to run better than Horizon, so I'm excited about that. Like, I saw
interesting, and it has the year. It's a year later, so you would think it would run worse.
Well, I think they spent a lot of time optimizing it, and I think they did that because it was released with a driver like, one of the ways that I know that is because they released a driver update with NVIDIA's NVIDIA's GeForce Experience.
Okay.
And God of War was like the featured update of the month. It was like
think
notable
that
driver updates to the card for that purpose.
Do you think they spent that much time optimizing it? Well, one, because they want it to run as well as it can on PC, but also because of the Steam Deck, because they wanted it to be able to run on the handheld system.
I don't think Sony knew about the Steam Deck far enough in advance to plan for that.
Yeah, you're right. That's more of like a Steam problem at that point because it was already in the Steam library.
Yeah, I don't think, because like Valve was keeping that close to their chest for a while.
Yeah.
And I think Sony was working on supporting God of War on PC before they announced the deck. But yeah, it's looking like hardware is going to be even more expensive, which I didn't think was going to be possible. On the bright side, it looks like the used graphics card market is falling. It fell like
some solace.
It fell like
we have a bronze lining, everybody.
It fell like month on month, overall 8% from last month, which is like decent. It's like that's
a solid percentage. It's working its way down.
Like, this is the lowest point that graphics cards have been in like 8 months on the used market. So that's a good sign. I think that's a very good sign. All right, moving on to gaming. It appears that several first-party PlayStation studios have noted to Sony Interactive Entertainment that they want their games that they produce for Sony also to be ported on PC. And it's probably because they see the success that God of War is getting and they want a piece of that action.
Really thought you were about to say, and they want a piece of that ass. I heard it all the way up through the first syllable of
action.
Action. I was like, I was so out of character.
They want a piece of that action. Also, there's a mod for God of War on PC of Kratos with not a beard, but like a Red Dead Redemption style mustache. I love it so much. I love it so much.
That's incredible.
It looks so good. You gotta look it up, dude. He looks so.
I have to.
He looks so great, and honestly, it's a little terrifying. It's honestly scarier than the beard in some instances.
Fuck yeah.
But we know that Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is also coming to PC in early this year. And it appears that other studios also want their games ported to PC as well. Will we see Ghostwire Tokyo be ported to PC? I don't know if that's a PC release. I know Forspoken is. I know Forspoken is going to be available on PC. People have been saying that the next game they want God of War Ragnarok to be on PC day one. They want it to launch day and date. Same day the PS5 version launches, which I don't think Sony is going to do. I think that's a little too soon for them to do that. They're still warming up to the whole PC idea. They're still warming up to that thing. They need to dip their toes in a little more with something else. I don't think they're going to throw Ragnarok, their prize pony, in the ring with that. You want to do the next one? You're the one who told me about this earlier in the week.
Yeah. So more Sony news. It's interesting because it started as a rumor, but it's been confirmed now. There are several PlayStation 3 games that have appeared on the PS5 store. And like I haven't looked super into it. Like I didn't know what specific games they were, but it's strange, Kevin. For some reason, it feels like Sony is pushing plans for backwards compatibility. I wonder why. Like, it just recently, it was shown that Sony's stock had dropped like 20 billion in like a day. Which was another topic on our list that
There's a lot to talk about.
There's
a lot to talk about where that's concerned.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder why all of this stuff is happening around Sony right now. It seems like they're in a tizzy, like in a scramble to save their company. Not that was a little bit of exaggeration. Like they're not failing as a company, but it seems they're in panic mode, and I wonder why.
Oh no.
Shall we address the elephant in the room?
I think we should. I think you led pretty strongly into that.
So,
let me tell you guys a tale. Let us tell you guys a tale.
Oh, let me sit back and sip on my soda.
All right, it's 2007, right? You're me and Jared. What? How old am I in 2007? I'm 8 years old.
I'm 9.
God, I'm fucking 8.
That's Kevin when he was 8. God, I'm fucking 8. Been smoking for 30 years.
You're 8 years old. You're not supposed to, but you go over your friend's house and you see them playing the new Call of Duty, which happened to be at the time Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and it's the coolest shooting game you've ever seen, and you just fall in love with Call of Duty at that point, and you're like, this is so cool.
It's the extra level because there's that M on the game case. It's the secret ingredient is crime.
It's swearing, you see.
Yes, it's swearing.
It's like one of those sentence enhancers. Uh, but like life is good is what I'm saying in 2007. Until the housing market crashed a year later, but we won't get into that. Where gaming is concerned, we're thriving in 2007.
That was not something 8 and 9-year-old us were worried about.
Speak for yourself. But it is life is good in 2007. You're fine. Flash forward to 2021, where they released Call of Duty Vanguard, which is one of the worst performing Call of Duties ever in history. And also flash back from when they released Vanguard to July of 2021, when all of the sexual harassment and perversion allegations against Activision Blizzard staff leadership and executives are released, and the the California Bureau of Labor Equality, I think some agency similar to that, sues Activision Blizzard for workplace welfare of worker violations. So Activision is a far cry
from its
from the golden child that we knew in the days of the original Modern Warfare trilogy. I only say Call of Duty. I know that's not what they're only known for. Like, if you remember back in the day, like Activision used to produce a shit ton of licensed games.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every Spider-Man game, like that happened, they did before 2010. Like pretty much everyone. Like they were responsible for it, which I was like, looking back on it, I was like, oh, why'd it have to be them? Why? I would take EA at this point.
Yeah, like going back to play them just to see what it was like. You're just like, it's soiled now.
Yeah, it's like it does. It leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And it's like, anyway. As a result of these allegations, executives from all different gaming companies that are in the same field as Activision start condemning the actions of these people, right? They start saying we are deeply abhorred and we are deeply horrified at the actions of Activision Blizzard, and even its own internal former leadership has said that this is not the Activision Blizzard we set out to do, and things like we have failed you guys, the fans and the workers, the fans and staff, and you have all this condemnation coming out, right? And then you have this one guy, this one executive. His name is Philip Spencer, using his full name for dramatic effect.
Yes.
I don't call him Philip because I like to imagine I know him on a friend basis. I feel like I know.
Yes, it feels like we do, but he's using the full name out of respect.
Out of credence. He, I think I can remember the quote, I think, verbatim, and he was like, well, as a result of this, he sees all this shit happening, and he's like, we are currently reevaluating every aspect of our relationship with Activision Blizzard. And this is what I told Maddie when I told her about the story. And I was like, well, I guess he's done evaluating because he fucking bought the fucker. and I think I have so many feelings about this, and almost
there are so many feelings. I agree.
Like Xbox. So the official TLDR is Xbox has bought Activision Blizzard
for $68.75 billion, the biggest acquisition in gaming history.
I know he's a piece of shit, but I wanted Bobby Kotick to negotiate just for a little extra money, like $300,000. That sweet $300,000 extra on top of there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's knowing him. He definitely thought about it, where he had the moment of just like, why couldn't we get to 69
that
billion?
there's a rumor that he actually negotiated for to get as close to 69 as he could because he thought it sounded cooler. And he's right. He's a piece of shit, but he's right.
Yeah,
In the long run, it wouldn't have mattered
he's
though.
on a line, but he is right.
He's also the most. I think he's the most paid CEO in America. Like in terms of salary. In, ter- in
We'll
terms of
see.
salary.
We'll see how that is by the end of the year.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll get more into that in a minute. But he was like like he's like we're reevaluating every part of our aspect, and he's in our relationship with Activision Blizzard, and I'm just like they bought this like gaming titan. Like, so I always thought there was a set of rules that certain gaming companies abided by, and I thought these were largely unspoken. Like no one really wrote them down.
Right,
Um,
yeah.
Like
Almost like a code of honor.
I not even a code of honor because they're businesses. So like, where's the honor in that? But
Oh,
uh,
hot shots.
sorry, I'm like in such a neo-socialist mood right
It
now.
has been such a week, man. I totally get it.
I just can't handle the late stage capitalism anymore. I want it to enter its natural evolution. I want it to enter the next stage already.
Which is the fall of society. Whoa.
Is it? I thought it was the rebirth, or that comes after the fall.
That comes after.
You gotta crack some eggs to make some omelets.
Oh man.
Um,
Okay, Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan. Oh no, is that fresh in your mind still?
No, I believe the quote from him was, to make an omelet, first you have to create the universe.
Basically. But I always thought that like one of the things that you just couldn't do was just outright buy another company that was like an insanely ludicrous amount of money that you would have to give them in order for them to become a part of
Yeah,
it.
essentially like sweeping their legs out from under them.
Like essentially having to sell yourself to become to have them become part of you.
Yeah.
And I guess I just never knew how much money companies can generate these days, how ludicrous the sums they can throw around truly are. Because things are different now from when they were back in 2007, back from 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
Because
There's so much. It's night and day how
Because-
much money is in the gaming industry.
games have never been as profitable as they are.
And it's just gonna keep going.
They've never been in as big a demand as they are. You walk down the street and you point at someone, odds are they're gonna be a gamer. Like I think it's like 1 in 7 people in the world is a gamer now.
Revolution is coming. Gamers rise up.
Gamers rise up. But it's just so crazy to me. And I mentioned rules, and like the reason I mentioned that is because like now that Microsoft has done this, that like we're not the only ones talking about this by any stretch. We're late to the party, actually.
Absolutely.
The reason that like this is such a big deal is because us included, like everyone who plays games, who is involved in the news, who pays attention to this stuff, all of us thought that there's just certain companies that weren't up for grabs. And like certain people, such as Activision Blizzard, no matter how much public scrutiny they fall under,
they were too big to be
too big to like be scooped up by someone else.
Yeah.
And we were all proven wrong this week. Now there are no rules. Now potentially any gaming giant could buy another. And I'll give you and we'll go into Jared wanted to make a video about this, and I think we should. So we're gonna shoot this, and we'll go into like further detail with this in the actual video. But like one of the things that I'm thinking about is like not only guys, again, the reason why this is such a big deal is because other people that are not involved in gaming see this massive acquisition and they're like, whoa, if a company that profitable can just get scooped up like that and we have the money to throw it around, why can't we buy one of the other guys? One of the things
it's like it's the first shot.
one of the things that
It's been a standoff, and this is the first shot.
one of the things that terrifies me is not more gaming companies scooping up other gaming companies. My fear is that someone who wants to make a breakthrough into the industry buys up a titan like Sony or Nintendo, who has more money, who has more money than Sony or Nintendo. There's only like a handful. Imagine if Apple bought Sony or Nintendo. Imagine, or worse, imagine if Facebook bought Sony or Xbox. I don't think they would buy Xbox because they would have to buy Microsoft. And that's like,
yes,
I think Microsoft is safe. I do think.
I think that Microsoft has once again, like, even though we just stated there are no rules, I think Microsoft has once again locked itself in its position.
I think they said, everyone else except me, go. Like they're playing Uno reverse. That's what they're doing. But like it's just so crazy to see. Like now, because think about it. If Netflix, like someone was talking about, if Netflix were to scoop up EA, like just all of EA, because Netflix has the money to do that. They have billions of dollars. Like if Netflix wants to just scoop up EA and have them produce things for Netflix gaming like they have been. Or if Google has massive tons of, like they have massive piles of cash lying around. Like if Google wants to revive Stadia, if they want to fix Stadia, who better than someone like a Titan like EA or like a Ubisoft or someone like that?
Yeah.
Who is also working on their own game streaming platform. Like it's crazy to think about. Like we're going to go into like super big deep dive on in the video on this, but like there's so many ramifications to this that like you just don't think about.
Yeah, because I'm reserving some of my thoughts just because I don't want our video to be a copy pasted from this stream. But
I have a lot more I could talk about. I have a lot more.
It's for like I'm expecting it to be like a 25-minute video just on this topic.
I'm expecting it to be a long one. I'm expecting it to be a long boy. But that's I think all we're gonna say on the topic for now. If you want to see more, get subscribed, so you can see our video on the subject of Xbox buying Activision Blizzard, because it's gonna be a good one. All right, it's your turn.
Okay. Now that we've talked about...
It's your story time. Tell me a story.
All right. So it's the year 20XX. I can't remember the specific year. You wake up one morning for Christmas. And you first thing first, you run to your sister's room, who precedes you by 3 years. You're screaming, "Wake up, it's Christmas!" She is not
just
responsive
like that.
quite yet.
Just like that. Wake up, it's Christmas!
Wake up, it's Christmas! Non-responsive, really. It was just like, get out type of thing. Much like the older sister vibe. Then I run out to the living room. And I see displayed on the, like, our, like, mantle to our fireplace, a new PlayStation 2. Set alongside it is what would be our first PlayStation 2 game, Kingdom Hearts 2. I rush back into my sister's room, and in hindsight, this was a shitty thing to do, but it got her out of bed. I told her, "We got a PlayStation 2. It was just like, boom, dropped the reveal on her. I was too excited. And then she was like, "I'm up." So, Kingdom Hearts 2 was our introduction to Sony consoles, and ever since, I'm probably like, what, 7 years old, maybe 8 or 9? I can't remember. I'm not even 10 at this point.
Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005.
Okay, so it was...
You were probably 7.
It was probably around
you were probably
like 7 or
7 when
8.
by the time you got one.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts has been... I've held Kingdom Hearts as a franchise very close to my heart throughout my life. Kingdom Hearts 2 still reigns as one of my favorite games of all time. It's still in my top 5, dare I say even my top 3. Just because of how much time and love I've put into it, or like how much time I put into it and how much love I've gotten out of it.
And also there is a nostalgia factor because it was like your first.
Absolutely,
Sony game,
but then like later on, being able to play Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which adds more stuff to the game, and it just feels full. So years go by. It's like a reoccurring bit that, oh, we're waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's like the smirk Wojak face, but it's the mask, and it's the just devoid of all life Wojak face underneath it. Like, ha ha ha, waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 for a decade. It comes out. Me and my roommate take the next day off of work. We call out of school the night before saying we're sick. We stay up all night playing it. We essentially play the whole game in one sitting. Couch co-op, 2 different screens, playing through at roughly the same pace. And it was okay. It wasn't the best. Which was sad.
Mid was the thing that I gathered from it.
Yeah. It wasn't. It did a lot of things.
Wasn't a shitty game.
It wasn't a shitty game. It did a lot of things. It just didn't do a lot of things really well. But so since then, and like between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, there have been so many ancillary, I think that's the word I'm looking for, games, like side games that spin-offs, but they do connect into the story. And by Kingdom Hearts 3, all of those games are important to the story. You have to play them all to still not understand what the fuck is going on, because that series is so fucking confusing.
I was gonna ask you, are you planning to get Melody of Memory? Because didn't that come out?
I had the demo of it. It's fun.
Is that technically like a DLC of 3?
No, it's its own
thing.
It's a standalone game, and it does have new content at the end of it. Like at the end of the game, you get like 2 or 3 cutscenes that are specific just to Melody of Memory, to like more fleshing out of the story. So you have to play the rhythm game if you want to continue knowing the full story.
Why?
Which I don't have a problem with, because you know me, love me my rhythm games.
It's like they want to do one thing in every genre. Like the freaking Birth by Sleep was a card game, and I'm like, this is a rhythm game.
Chain of Memories. It was the card game. Yeah,
it was a card game, and I'm like, why? Just make it an RPG. That's why I bought it. But
and like you're the only, like, between the two of us, you're the one that's completed Chain of Memories. I haven't
yet. To be fair, you're the one who tried the original, and I didn't. I didn't. I played it in the final mix.
You played Chain of Memories on the PS4. But so, flash forward to this week. There's before then, there's a collection of Kingdom Hearts now. It's Kingdom Hearts: The Story So Far, or The Story Thus Far. And it has everything leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3 in it, which I have I have the story thus far, and it's really nice to have everything, essentially 9 games, consolidated into one box. It's really 6 games, because 3 of those are cutscenes from the games. It's like the mobile games that they couldn't really port to console, or like they would have had extra difficulty in doing so. So they just brought the cutscenes over.
Well, what's the mobile games?
Or the handheld, sorry, not mobile.
Yeah, I was like mobile.
Well, they do have the mobile game. They have Kingdom Hearts Key.
Right. Yeah. Not a fan of that one.
I tried it, and it is so repetitive. I just couldn't do it. But anyways,
back to the topic at hand.
Yes, back to the topic at hand that I've been working my way up to. So, one thing people have been asking for was to bring Kingdom Hearts to the Switch. And as I report this bot in our chat, I will say that they got their wish. It was, I think it was like a couple months back, it was announced that Kingdom Hearts was going to be coming to the Switch.
Yeah, but they delayed it for a while because they still needed to hash out some things.
Yep. More recently, it was announced that it was going to be cloud exclusive, meaning you would have to have a Wi-Fi connection to play the games. Which was that was like an ouch, but it doesn't really affect me personally because I already have them and I wouldn't play them mobile.
And you personally play your Switch mostly at home anyway.
Yeah. But just this week, it was announced that the full collection of Kingdom Hearts, like all the games, including like the story thus far, and 3, and the DLC for 3. I'm not sure if it includes Melody of Memory.
I don't believe it does.
Yeah. So the entire collection is being sold as a Nintendo Switch Cloud exclusive, or like rather exclusive only to the cloud, for $90. And that was like, seeing that was like a punch in the gut. Me, Kevin, and our buddy Simon were all like, "What the fuck is going on?"
The entire collection is called the Kingdom Hearts Integra Masterpiece, which is an odd name, I think, for that. It does not include the Melody of Memory game. So it includes, on 3, it includes Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind DLC, which can be bought for $50, and 1.5 and 2.5 remix can be bought for $40.
Yeah, so you can split them apart. See, I agree with 1.5 and 2.5, like a collection of those two being $40. Yeah, I agree with them as a package being $40. That I think is okay. At the farthest, I would push Kingdom Hearts 3 and its DLC
$60?
to like $30. No, because
I'd say total for the whole package, like all 3 games plus DLC.
Or like everything. I was gonna say the farthest I could push the entire thing is $70.
I was gonna say 60, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is like not good compared to the other 2, and like they have so much more DLC content more than that. So like I feel like $20 is a fair price, especially after like, what has it been, 2 years since it released? 3 years at this point. Came out in 2019.
Weird. It feels like it's been like 4.
Wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. But so there's a whole lot of
just upset, like anti-consumer moves, like paying $90 for essentially what are mobile games because they're not being run natively in your console is like very disappointing.
And
And
they're not gonna run great because of it.
say you have a bad Wi-Fi connection and Switch is the only console you own. If your Wi-Fi craps out on you when you're playing, oh, guess you're done playing Kingdom Hearts for the day, fucko. Like,
Hope you saved in the last hour.
hope you saved, or like there's all your progress gone. Like, there's problems with cloud-only games that the industry isn't ready for. The U.S. is notorious for having some of like we're one of the most developed nations, and we have some of the worst infrastructure known to man. That includes broadband internet. Like so many households across America have bad internet connections. We are not ready for cloud-only gaming. We are not. We are not. That's why this is upsetting. If it was a cloud-only option, and you could,
that would be a completely different story.
And if it was, say they released 2 tiers of this collection, right? There's a cloud-only option which costs less, and there's like a native version, a regular version that you can install like you would a normal game. Like, granted, I would be upset that I would have to pay more for the physical version, but I'm glad that I at least have the option to.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I'm glad that giving the consumer options is never a bad thing. Like, when you restrict their options, then you run into problems like this. And I just think this is very missed opportunity. For at the very least, 1.5 and 2.5 can run natively on the Switch, and Nintendo themselves have said so. Who's the creator of Kingdom Hearts?
Square Enix.
No, director of the games.
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Tetsuya Nomura has personally said that the Switch is capable of running like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 both respectively natively. And he was like, I don't know, and he was like, yeah, I'm not sure why we're doing it this way. Nintendo, this is on you. Like, why did you do it this way? Like, you didn't have to. And I'm just like very confused and upset. I'm confused and upset, like puberty. But yeah, that's that story. In other news, we got more Horizon Forbidden West details. It appears that Carrie-Anne Moss will be joining the game, Trinity from The Matrix, which was unexpected.
Yeah.
But a world that she surprisingly fits very well into. She's playing a new original character called Tilda.
And I personally, I love, like, fantastic name for the Horizon series. I was like, Tilda is a great name.
Tilda's a great name. Very interesting. We're seeing, like, one of the things we're seeing is new original characters. Tilda Swinton's character, I don't know if you've seen it, Jared, but, like, personally, I think the character design is fucking cool. Like,
is it in the article? I'm skimming.
It is in the article. You have to scroll. You have to scroll down past new and returning faces, and then right down below that, you'll see Horizon Forbidden West screenshots, and like her picture is in one of the screenshots.
Okay.
And it looks like Carrie-Anne Moss in the game, just like with different color hair. But I think it's really cool. Game capture technology is so cool. Also, the game's creator, one of the writers of the game has said, they were asked what is Silence up to in Forbidden West, and
yes,
they responded, Silence always has a plan, and that plan is never quite what you think. I am so excited to find out more about this game. We got some.
Silence was such an awesome character.
We're both just fanboys for Lance Riddick, honestly.
I have sworn by this man ever since seeing his Eric Andre interview. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And to cap it off, the writers also said there are a lot of mysteries in Forbidden West, and we hinted at some of them in the trailer, but some we haven't even mentioned yet. And I love I wish we had more games that did like cool twists. You know, I feel like there's not enough of those anymore.
We don't have M. Night Shyamalan twist. in games
There's no
anymore.
like we more or less get what we're expecting. Like I don't know, like the last game that I played, the most recent game I think that I played that had like a cool twist, um, like a really cool one was I would argue Resident Evil 8. Um, you know,
Yeah, okay,
you
I
know
see
what you
that.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, those who have played it understand what he's saying.
The real ones know, is what we're
Yeah,
saying. Um, but
IYKYK.
but like
Hashtag.
even that wasn't like a mind blowing twist. It was like
Yeah, you're just like,
it's just like
oh,
it was definitely an oh shit moment.
yeah,
But it wasn't like one of those like brain fuckers, you know. It wasn't like one of those like ones
yeah.
that you just. I want one of those twists that makes me put down the controller and just like sit at my TV like. Just like can't do one of those like I told you about this, one of those things that like you can't do anything afterward. I want one of those because it's so cool. But I'm very excited for Forbidden West right now. This is my most anticipated of the year. Elden Ring is my second. But yeah, I can't wait. February is going to be a busy month. It's going to be a very busy month, especially with the Steam Deck releasing around the same week as these things coming out, and I'm like, oh no. It's gonna suck. We're gonna have to make a video about the Steam Deck right as these two games come out.
Yeah.
That's gonna suck. Oh god.
Yeah.
Gonna have to rip ourselves away from our TVs. We already mentioned that. You want to mention the Dying Light 2 delay on Switch?
I didn't hear about it.
Oh yeah, it's just the Switch version. So who really cares? Sorry, Nintendo fans.
That's strange. Yeah, it's delayed to what we believe early August, but for everyone else it's still releasing February 4th.
This is a pattern. I believe one of the first games I think the first game that's releasing in February this year is the Life is Strange Remastered collection. They also delayed their Switch port. And I think it's this trend where like the underpowered nature of the Switch is finally catching up to it, where game developers have to work so hard to optimize their game to run at a playable setting on the Switch. Because we are to the point now where like even like what I would argue state of the art PC hardware sometimes will have a hard time running max settings on a certain game. So it makes sense that Nintendo's underpowered handheld would have trouble doing the same thing. Enter Steam Deck, which is like that's my most anticipated release of the year. I said that before. But yeah, I think that's why. Also, we got a release date for the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. All 9 films in Lego form finally have a release date. It was leaked, and I think the developers were forced to reveal the release date for real. It's coming out on April 5th of this year, which I'm excited about. You know, Maddie and her brother pre-ordered like the deluxe version for like $70, and like that was 2 years ago, and it's still not out. And I'm like, that's why I don't pre-order stuff. That's why, because then you run into stuff like this happening. Do you want to? You said they were going through, like they personally were going through some like workplace culture stuff.
It's not in the sense of Activision Blizzard. Yeah, I didn't put this in the doc, but I have
in the sense of actual harassment.
But it is the implication that, like that crunch culture is not. It's not like an emergency setting where crunch culture is the norm. Where I was telling you about this the other night. I found the article. It's a Polygon article. It was reported that because Polygon spoke to like 30 current and former TT Games employees. One was quoted saying it was a very soft-spoken blackmail. if people don't start doing overtime, there's going to be problems. But the problems were never explicitly said. Some former staff coined the term PTTSD because of the trauma that because people broke down outside of work because of these workloads, like working 60-hour weeks and over, just because TT Games has set an unrealistic deadline. They set deadlines with crunch time already built in.
Working 12-hour days consistently for months.
Yeah. And it led to low morale, and it's unfortunate because I'm gonna play the game because I have loved their Lego games for so long, and that's almost like the issue where it became this is the largest Lego game that they've done because it is all 9
Star Wars films.
No, all 9 Star Wars films.
The
but
Skywalker film, at least.
Yeah, like the main lines. That's the Skywalker Saga. It's in the name. But so if they're all redone, and it's become like they have like this. They feel they have the standard to uphold, and they need to make it like this is the biggest and best Lego game yet. And it really, from the trailers, it really looks like it. However, the painstaking effort that the team behind it has had to go through because of the company setting these standards, imagine if this came out when it was supposed to, how many people how many people they would have lost, or worse, because of the workload stress.
I can't think of a situation where I would want a game so badly that I would want the staff working on it to be working 12+ hour shifts.
I can't.
Every week. And I would have been perfectly fine with receiving this game whenever, and them, because studies show that there is a quality drop off in your work. There's a diminishing return on investment when in terms of actual productivity and work effort put in after 6 hours a day of work. So I would have been perfectly fine with them putting in 6 to 8 hours a day working on this rather than 12 plus. I feel like that's much more reasonable. But I'm excited for the game. I hope they sort their shit out, and they better treat their staff right, because honestly, I know gamers can be rabid sometimes, and I know they can be really, really vicious at times. But the people making these games, without them, there is no game.
Exactly. I'm reading now the end of the article where before what I'm about to say, they mentioned that there are some positive steps for TT, saying that they're finally they're going to switch to Unreal Engine, which they believe people say is a step in the right direction. And that the company has begun paying better attention to, and also in some cases limiting the amount of overtime that people can work. So setting actual boundaries for schedules. We're not overworking their employees. So it looks like they're going in the right direction, because this sounded like a mess. A mixture of current. I'm gonna read this last line that they say. As for the Skywalker Saga, a mixture of current and former employees say that they expected the finished results to satisfy fans, but they wonder why the staff had to endure so much to get to that point. And that's really the best way that we can say that. If you guys want to read the full article, I'm posting it right now. Polygon is a great resource for gaming journalism.
Mm-hmm.
I give it a read, because it's unfortunate to see this side of things.
Give it a good look.
We're so excited for games.
I am excited for it. Also,
and thank you, Polygon, for a very eloquent article.
Yes, thank you very much, Polygon, for all the work, for all the important work you do. Also, tread carefully online, everyone who is interested in Elden Ring, because massive story and gameplay spoilers have been leaked online, on Twitter and YouTube. So
God damn it! I just made a Twitter. I can't do this. I can't handle this.
anyone interested, do not, if you see Elden Ring trending, don't click on it. Okay?
It's okay. I still don't know how to work Twitter, so
You
I
still
don't
how
know
to
what to
find
do.
what's trending.
I don't know how to find what's trending.
That's good. I'm not gonna show you until after Elden Ring comes out.
Okay.
But just everyone just be careful on that, because honestly, as a gamer, there's like few things I could think, like treating your workers. That's probably the worst thing you could do. Like if you treat your workers shittily, that's like the worst thing I can hear about. Games being canceled is up there too. Games being canceled. Right below games being canceled is games being spoiled for me, and that's like one of my pet peeves. Right below that is like games being delayed, but like I understand it's necessary, so like that's not really important.
That's to the point where you're like, I can understand, like what we just talked about. If the team needs time, give it to them.
But like, tread carefully if you're interested in Elden Ring. I didn't link anything for this article because I was afraid it would contain spoilers. So, just make sure you tread carefully out there, Elden Ring fans, From Software fans, because we're in the trenches out here. A lot of stuff's been getting leaked for Horizon too, like story trailers, or like story details from that. So I'm sweating. I'm getting nervous. All right, we're gonna get you guys out of here with what to watch / play. No anime news this week.
Nothing really. I mean, just offhand.
Dry in the pipeline.
Congratulations to Tokyo Revengers. The manga has now topped 50 million copies in circulation, which is it's a fantastic milestone. Tokyo Revengers is a wonderful series. It has one season of an anime out currently. It's almost an isekai. It's interesting. It's got a bunch of time travel, but that's like not spoiler because it's literally prevalent in like the first like 5 minutes type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool concept. Congratulations to Tokyo Revengers and the mangaka behind it.
Very excited.
That's literally all the anime news I can think of.
Yeah.
Besides, watch Sabakui Bisco and My Dress Up Darling, 2 powerhouse series like coming out this season.
We're gonna get started on what to watch / play for this week, and then we'll get you guys out of here so we can all enjoy our weekend. So what do we got? First up, we got Shadow Man Remastered is out on Nintendo Switch. We got Nobody Saves the World is out on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. RPG Golf Legends is out on
Ooh, that
PC,
actually sounds fun.
Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction is finally out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Google Stadia. Windjammers 2 is out on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Google Stadia. Mousecraft is out on Xbox One. That's it. It's just out on Xbox
All right.
One. All right.
Okay, so for movies, we have Quiet Valley, which looks like an indie film. I'm not going to mention that one because it's sad. It was. Now I'll say it because now the cat's like.
Cat's out.
I can't just say that and keep going. It was the Betty White 100 Years Young birthday celebration.
I feel like out of respect, it's a good thing to mention it.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Betty.
Hollywood legend. National treasure.
Didn't live long enough.
She almost.
We have also last week. We talked about that, like the Curse of La Lenora. That was like a re-release. Turns out they got it wrong on Movie Phone. It's the Curse of La Pastola. Patasola. Sorry.
Pastola.
The Curse of La Patasola.
La Pastola sounds like a pasta ghost.
Yeah.
The La Pastola.
La Pastasola. Pot of soul. Oh my god, I'm like I've scrolled away and immediately forgot how to say it. My word. We have Live or Let Die. Looks like a zombie movie. The Souvenir, which looks like it might be
Not
British
sure.
royalty movie.
Maybe. It looks like a rom-com, maybe, honestly.
Yeah. Lost and Found. The Worst Person in the World. Hey, we just talked about him earlier on stream. We have Fire of Love, and then today's releases, a Sundance Festival. I can't see if it's an award winner or like a nominee. I know it has something from Sundance.
It's their nominee.
It's a nominee for the Sundance Festival.
Yeah.
We Met in Virtual Reality, which honestly it's like one of those things where I'm like, huh, what? I'm interested. Like I almost want to watch it.
I met my husband in the metaverse. That's gonna come. Now that I said it, it's gonna happen in like a week. You watch.
You just manifested it. How fucking dare you? In the last two movies, we have Munich, The Edge of War, and My Father's Violin.
That sounds like a nice title. Very pleasing title.
Through their shared grief and connection to music, an orphaned girl bonds with her emotionally aloof, successful violinist uncle. Interesting.
That's an interesting plot.
It is a European film. All right. What's for TV, my boy?
We got Supernatural Academy. A new season of that is out on Peacock.
I thought you were about to say there's a new season of Supernatural. I was like, let it die.
Well, CW hasn't been profitable since 2006, so I don't think so.
Didn't they just recently come out and say like, hey, we're up for being bought. Someone please save us from bankruptcy.
No, I think Time Warner and by extension AT&T owns the CW, and like there's this whole thing with like Hollywood accounting that was explained to me where like they don't like bomb the show's budget, but like they like fudge the books a bit so that it looks like the show is taking a loss and not profitable. For tax purposes, for tax write-offs. Because if you claim you've had a loss, then you get tax reductions.
Yikes. CW.
I could say, well, no, it's not their fault. They're only a small network compared to AT&T.
Oh, I got you.
Like they're going to do whatever AT&T tells them. Why do you think they keep them on even though their ratings are shit? We got a new season of Single Drunk Female on Freeform. New season of La Fortuna out on AMC Plus. New season of Looney Tunes cartoons out on HBO Max. I actually love classic Looney Tunes.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty great. I enjoy them a lot. If you like, I'll give you. I forgot to do it last week because you asked for it, but I'll give you my HBO Max login again. Like I encourage you to just watch a little bit of Looney Tunes. It does wonders for you.
Absolutely. And like the most recent one, like this Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes cartoons, it's like they brought back the spirit of the original cartoons.
Basically. We've got a new season of On the Job on HBO Max. New season of Astral Journey, aka Jornada Astral. I hope I said that right. Out on HBO Max. Got a new season of The Envoys out on Paramount Plus. We got Unraveled Mystery at the Mansion out on Discovery Plus. We got a new season of Selling the Hamptons out on Discovery Plus. We got a new season of Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. It's not what you think it is, trust me. Out on TBS. A new season of Servant out on Apple TV Plus. Oh my God! Season 4 of Ozark is out on Netflix. I fucking love Ozark. If any of you are fans of Breaking Bad, please watch Ozark. It's such a good show. Anthony, if you're watching this, watch it. I need to talk about it.
Do it.
New season of Pokemon Master Journeys, the series, part 2, or that's just a special, out on Netflix. New season of Summer Heat out on Netflix. a new season of As We See It out on Amazon Prime Video, a new season of Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, which is fucking a great title, out on Apple TV Plus of all places.
The next season is going to be Fraggle Rock Far from the Fraggle.
That's Far from the Rock. Fraggle my rock.
Two Fraggle, two Rock. It's getting dangerously close to Fast and the Furious titles.
I just want every movie to be called the Fraggle Rock play on words at this point. Like a pornographic film is gonna be Fraggle my rock.
Oh, I was going for more of a C word there. Fraggle. I don't want to say these words.
My clock.
Fraggle Clock. There we go.
Fraggle Clock. Yeah. All right. That is it.
Oh, that was the last one. What a one to send it off on.
What a great one to end on. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I hope you have a great time playing all the great games, watching all the great stuff that is out there to play and watch, and keep an eye out for the video on our take on Xbox and Activision's merger. That'll probably be out. That'll be out within the next 2 weeks.
Burn an extra stick of incense tonight in honor of Philip Spencer,
and also burn a candle for our boy who has died today, Meatloaf.
Meatloaf and Louis Anderson. We lost two greats today.
May they both rest in peace.
Meatloaf has been a large source of joy for my family ever since I grew up, and it was very tragic news to see immediately, less than a minute after waking up this morning. It's been a rough day.
Lost a legend today.
Absolutely. Larger than life.
But let's go burn a candle and listen to Bad Out of Hell again. All right. I hope you guys have a great...
Let's go set churches on fire. No, don't do that. That is a joke.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
but I won't do that. In parentheses, burn a church down.
Burn a church down.
Good for you.
And that's the perfect line to end.
Those are healthy relationship standards. You should never do that for somebody.
It's self-care to burn a church down? Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. If you're doing it for your mental health, then that's just self-care, babe. Like I can't.
Hey.
All right. Enjoy your weekend, guys. We'll see you same time next week, same time, same channel. Bye-bye.